Howdy everybody in YouTube land. Get my fellow over here, Yakate. Cruz, Aus Texas. Hey folks, Johnny Practical Nurse here. So I wanted to show you this, folks, because you may have saw my little test video where I was testing out my new camera that, there was a problem with my bolt carrier group for my Radical Firearms upper. My AR I affectionately call Frankenstein because it's kind of a piece here, a piece there, Palmetto State Armory lower, blah, blah, blah. But if you remember, basically, I was never told this in the military, but a test for the rings on your bolt is if you can stand it up and the bolt carrier group, the weight of the bolt carrier group does not kind of slide down on the bolt, then your rings are still good. If it collapses, I'm going to push it down here like that, like you saw in my test video, then you got to change your rings out. And so I have done that. And let me show you something real quick. I want to really thank Radical Firearms, Bradley, and all you guys over there. They sent me a boo-boo kit. Some people call them O-poop kits. I heard them called a few other things. I'm going to disassemble this while I'm talking, folks. Thank you guys so much for sending me this. Let me just point out that the rifle never malfunctioned at all when the bolt could collapse. The bolt carrier group could collapse on top of the bolt. It never once malfunctioned, which I think that's awesome. Kudos. And slide this out. There's your bolt. Okay, folks, so how to do this. And you can go look up other videos in case my finger's getting away. I use this. I call it a utility knife. I've heard people call it a lot of different things. But what I did was I was able to slip the point right under the ring. And I got it. Greasy fingers today. So I was able to slip it right under the ring and just kind of follow it through. And just kind of take my finger, my thumbnail, and just kind of follow it through. And it pretty much comes off pretty easy after that. Folks, I am told that there is an edge on one side and kind of a smooth part on the other. I am told that it goes with the edge pointed towards this way. Again, folks, this is just something I'm told, and I'm just going to pop this back on here. But you just get one end on there, into the groove, as I call it, and just again follow it around with your finger, your thumbnail. This is what I use. Nothing fancy, people. It doesn't make a lot of sense to be carrying a lot of tools if something really bad happens. But I do recommend you carrying an O-poop kit with you in your gear. And just make sure your rings are staggered per what I was taught in the military. Again, I have seen some videos where people have done, they aligned the rings and had no issues. They took off their rings, had no issues. So thank you guys for posting those videos for that. Again, as for which way that the rings are supposed to go itself, I've heard that really doesn't make a difference. I've heard a friend of mine that was a mechanic that say, think of a piston on a car, makes sense, blah, blah, blah. But it's really is easy to do. Don't let these tiny parts scare you, people. My friends, all of us who are into AKs, will notice that, on the bolt carrier group of an AK, it doesn't have rings. It is what it is. I accidentally on one of my videos said what I didn't like about ARs versus AKs is they have too many moving parts. What I meant to say was that they have too many tiny parts. So I do, now folks, don't get me wrong, I tell people, the biggest thing that I tell people is be familiar with both. Be familiar with both AK and AR. That's the best advice I can give. And when people say which one's better, blah, 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 I say, look, just be familiar with both and you can't go wrong. So I'm going to put this little puppy back together. Kind of looking for my detents here. Like I said, don't let it scare you, people. It is what it is. It is a machine. It's a tool. Okay. It is a tool, people. It's a machine. It's not going to bite you. As fragile as some people would like to try to convince people that the things are. Let's do it my old-fashioned way like that. it's not gonna. You're not, unless you really go out of your way to break it. It's not gonna break just from you handling it like this. Okay, so there it is, put back together. I just wanted to show you all that. Do the test, and it stands up just fine. Again, my thanks to Radical Firearms, Bradley, all those guys out there for providing me what I call a boo-boo kit. And I think personally, people, if for your boo-boo kit, this is what I recommend: Ziploc bag, a set of gas rings, all these little assorted springs, a firing pin, and a cam pin. That if you're going to make your own boo-boo kit, that's just what I recommend. The worst time for your rifle to fail and malfunction is, of course, when you're trying to defend yourself. At that point, I say go for your sidearm, okay, and run and retreat, okay. But anyway, just wanted to show you that, folks. Kind of want to work on my new camera I got here, just so y'all can see that. And thank you all so very much for watching. Until I see y'all next again. Until I see y'all again, Johnny Practical Nerds out here. Have a blessed one.